We're back with you. All right, for those of you joining us again, this is Brian Curtis, not Aubrey. Let me change that, buddy. Brian Curtis.
I've been called worse. Aubrey is awesome. So
Aubrey is awesome. Brian Curtis, he's a coach and he's also a mega agent, a longtime friend of mine. And he's also in depth with a lot of tech companies. Actually, when I wonder, hey man, do you know what tech company that's doing this and that? I text Brian, and Brian always has the scoop. So Brian, thanks for joining us. I know you still have room for people wanting to coach. So if you guys want to learn more, hit up Brian. We're going to be talking about mega agents and how they use Follow Up Boss. And where would you start with a mega agent or a mega team when it comes to Follow Up Boss?
So, it's funny because, Jeff, Jeff Moore, we did a thing together, and we were chatting just earlier. And one of the things that I love about Follow Up Boss is Follow Up Boss has become my hub. And that's what I mean by, in and of itself, Follow Up Boss is a powerful database, which allows you to text and call and follow up. But the beauty of Follow Up Boss for me is all the stuff I can plug into it, right? That's why it's an extremely powerful system. So, the core of it is ultimately we just need to know who to call and when to call is ultimately the purpose of a database to me. And Follow Up Boss is awesome at that. But there's so many other great plugins that you can add. And so depending on how techy you want to be, I kind of laugh. We're talking about tech here, and I couldn't get my headphones to work or them to connect. And it's so sometimes tech is amazing, but sometimes it can be a little bit challenging at moments too. Here's the other thing I love about Follow Up Boss. I don't need everybody on my team to plug into every piece of tech. So for example, I use Call Action. I think you know that. Now, not everybody on my team wants to use Call Action. No big deal, because they don't have to plug into it, but everybody still has the core system that they can use. And that's probably the thing that makes me most excited about Follow Up Boss. It's funny because Aubrey sent me a thing. I've been using Follow Up Boss since 2014, and it's changed so much and gotten so much better. And, big shout out to Dan. In the last probably 8 to 12 months, it's really gone next level, I think. So.
Well, I think so. And let's go dive deeper into this, because if I go to the back end of Follow Up Boss right now, I want to ask you a few questions. Let me just log in so I can share my screen with you specifically so you can kind of guide me through this, okay?
Absolutely.
Let me see here. Perfect. All right. Tell me when you can see my Follow Up Boss screen.
Good.
All right. I'm going to go to admin, and then I'm going to go to integrations, okay? Because this, I think, is the key to one of the keys, right, to mega teams using this to a whole different level, right?
I agree.
Where would you say you would start if you're a mega team and say, hey, these are ones that you have to focus on?
So let's start at the very top. If you need some sort of email integration, as far as I'm concerned, Happy Grasshoppers are great. We're working on integration with them. I know LCA is doing some great stuff with them. BombBomb, if you're a person who's doing video emails, like one of the things that my coach is having me do is we send one video a week through BombBomb or some version of that to the entire database.
Tell me about that. How does that work?
So basically, with these mass email tools such Happy Grasshopper, SendGrid, MailChimp, you can literally mass email to every single person in your Follow Up Boss. And the beauty of adding something like SendGrid or Happy Grasshopper or MailChimp is it's not going to destroy your reputation, for lack of a better way to put it. One of the things that we need to know about email marketing is if you email too much from your own email, your reputation can get destroyed and your open rates drop significantly. So using something like SendGrid or Happy Grasshopper or MailChimp will basically let them take the hit for it if you end up not having open rates that are good enough. But the other beauty of that is I can see my open rates. And so, if you don't take anything else from this webinar, create a video with content. And basically what we're doing is 1 week it's an event that's happening. Let's say a new restaurant opened or something like that. The next week it might be a market update. The next week it might be just a piece of content. So, why it's a great time to buy now and why it's a bad time to buy now might be a great thing. I think all too often agents go out there and they only try and convince you of the greatest thing in the world. Why not offer the flip side to it? The great reason to buy right now is I can get an interest rate of 3%. The bad reason to buy right now is it's going to be a lot of work and I'm going to be in multiple offers. So if you balance those two things out, you know what people will do? They'll believe you. If you only tell them stuff that's in your own best interest, it doesn't work. So go out and show people that you actually understand what you're doing. And here's the thing that's great about it. When you start emailing your database, and by the way, I wouldn't do it with anything but a video. So, a BombBomb integration, or you can actually integrate just a video GIF right inside of the email.
Mhm.
Those are the ways to communicate with people. It's 2020, or excuse me, it's 2021. I lost it. But anyway, it's the modern era. A text, email, it works. It has a value, but send a video. Spend 20 minutes creating a video about something local in your market, a market snapshot, or a piece of content. And if you just do that once a week to your entire database, when your agents or yourself reach out to people, they're going to be, oh yeah, I saw that email. It was really great. You told me about this new restaurant. You told me about this. You told me about that. They appreciate that. You're a person who's offering value, not just a person who's out there spamming. Offer value. So
I love that.
that's
All right.
that's the first one.
That's the email marketing side of things, video email, right?
Absolutely.
Grasshopper, MailChimp, even SendGrid. I don't use SendGrid, I use MailChimp, but I know SendGrid rocks.
Yeah.
So,
Basically, they're a competitor. They're doing basically the same thing.
so
So
now let's talk about the middle part about it here, because you and I know both Jeff Moore and he crushes Zapier, right?
yes.
I haven't even touched Zapier when it comes to Follow Up Boss, but after I talked to him, I reached out to him. I was like, hey, can you set up all my zaps for Follow Up Boss?
So I've got about 40 zaps that I use on any given day. I'll give you an example. So I have a zap today that and it's a call action zap. So if I want to get a lead from Follow Up Boss into call action so I can run a call action drip on it, I just put a tag on it now. And the Zapier goes out, talks to call action, talks to Follow Up Boss, and it ends up in there. Or if I want to start a drip inside of call action, I can do that. All of these things can be done through Zapier. And again, shout out to Jeff. The great thing about him is he has a company called Osiris, and he'll set that stuff up for you. You can do a monthly plan with him, or you can just do one-offs that he'll do for you. So a fabulous opportunity to get stuff set up to automate. Automation is a time saver. It's leverage that we have today that we didn't have 5 years ago.
All right, let's wrap up on this one. What other ones here would you say we need as a team? Are you using the Pixel? Are you using Facebook, Mojo, Call Action?
I use the Pixel. I don't use Facebook only because I don't run Facebook ads directly through the Facebook ad manager. I use Ylopo, as I know you do. And so Ylopo has an API that goes straight into there. But, I'm a big fan of things like Agent Legend and Call Action. Ava, same thing. I don't really use Ava, but those things that can create those automated text messages, voicemails, and they reach out to the customers on our behalf. So really a great opportunity there. So other things, if you look down here, embedded apps. So Barry, I know Barry Jenkins, we all know Barry, he's using AM cards at a very high level. Those of you who are doing seller lead generation, remember this, sellers are almost always further down the funnel unless you grab there's a couple of very few lead sources that are right there. So AM cards is a great way. Someone reaches out and says, hey, I'm interested in the value of my home. Send them something in the mail. Like mail was dead 5 years ago, but we got so much electronic mail that mail is actually kind of coming back because people actually enjoy a decent piece of mail, something they can grab and put their hands on. Open to Close is something that I've started using as well. And they are basically a transaction management software, which is also literally embedded right inside of Follow Up Boss.
That's cool.
So my agent can look at it and see, hey, by the way, here's where we're at, what step in the transaction we're at right inside of Follow Up Boss. So these are the things that, and let me say this for everybody who's watching, who I've just overwhelmed with all the integrations we're talking about, do one at a time. And that's really the key, is just doing one at a time and not trying to integrate 17 things at once. Pick one thing, integrate it.
If you're a mega team, or you're starting to be a mega team, where would you start out of all of these, just so it's not overwhelming?
So again, I would start with email, and because email is the simplest, it's free, and we can do that, just make it, let me say this, anything you want to do, you want to make a commitment to it. So make a commitment to doing one video email a week, send that to your database. So use SendGrid or BombBomb or MailChimp to send those out, Happy Grasshopper, any of those. That's where I would start with that. And then if you're a mega team, I can promise you, using something like Open to Close, where you can actually not, here's the great thing about embedded apps to me. I don't have to go and log in over here and log in over here. And that's how it used to be, right? Oh, I've got call action. I got to go log into call action. Oh, I got this. I got to go log into this. Fub has really become our hub for literally everything we do. And, shout out to Dan for doing these built-in integrations, because like call action's a great example of that. We didn't use it at a very high level until it was built into Follow Up Boss. Because why? Agents they don't want 27 different logins. They don't want to have to learn 27 different programs, but the embedded app just looks like it's Follow Up Boss. And that is, so Auberry sent me some, what's my favorite feature? My favorite feature in Follow Up Boss nowadays is the ability to embed these other apps.
Dude, hold on, because now that you took me off of a tangent here in my head. My favorite feature, and then we'll get into how you run the leads coming through. Dude, I'm stuck between, I actually really like this section right here. It's power ups.
Yep.
On the drop down. I click on power ups and I love this. It's just like turning on, I'm on beta for contact relationships or agent owned lead duplications, right? Because some of my agents work in the same area, have the same type of leads or lead, right? The pawn notification and new inquiry pawn notification, that's huge for a team, right?
It is. Now, let me say this. You need to have a conversation with your team before you turn that on. I got hate mail one weekend when I turned that on and didn't tell my team, and everyone's, what's wrong with Follow Up Boss? And they start sending. So, it's funny to me because agents complain when they don't have enough leads, and then they complain when we over communicate with them. Shout out to my team, anybody's watching. But ultimately, we've got to make sure that we're communicating with our team. Hey, we're going to get a bunch of pond notifications. I've got 50,000 people in a pond. Just pure math says we're going to get some notifications when that happens. So be careful when you do some of these things, or otherwise you'll piss your entire team off.
Well, you know what? There's always one or two people on a team, as great as those team members are, that love to tell you when stuff goes wrong. And
Absolutely.
That's okay. Like I have one of my best agents, the agent that closed the Matthew Perry home.
Okay.
He is like that. And I'm okay with that because he's been with me for 11 years. I'm like, oh, here it goes. Here comes the phone call. We did something wrong. And that's okay.
Well, it's funny though. So here's a team leader piece of advice. Take that feedback. Set things that you're not going to do. So we have a rule on our team, very simply, don't bitch about leads. What I mean by that is I understand that some of the leads are going to be bad. They're going to have bad phone numbers, bad emails. They're going to say bad things to you. But that's our one basic rule. Outside of that, we have a rule that it goes up. So in other words, if you're talking to me and I'm the team leader, you can say whatever you want to me. You can complain, you can whine, you can do this, but you do not complain laterally. In other words, I don't want you complaining to our staff. I don't want you complaining to other agents. Why? They can't fix it. I can fix it. So that's the right person to complain to. You complain to the people who can fix something, who can rectify a problem, not just whining, because that's not complaining. That's giving constructive criticism so we all can get better.
I love it, dude. I love it. All right. Thank you. Great advice. Now let's go into how your back end looks in regards to leads coming through, because I think we all end up in the same place, but I think these small little tweaks on how we convert at a higher level matter.
It does.
So first tell me, where are you getting most of your leads from right now?
So I get about 6 or 7 different lead sources. We use Ylopo. I have some pay-per-click that I just do that's not Ylopo pay-per-click. We have Street Text, we have Zillow, we have Realtor.com, and then we have a bunch of one-offs, your home lights, your expert agents, fast agent, all those
The referral sites.
Yes. So a bunch of those one-offs. Of course, sign calls. I run a bunch of Craigslist ads. So that's where the majority of my leads come from.
All right, cool. All right, now, once a lead comes through, tell me that process from the Follow-Up Boss side, and then like the automation and what happens tech-wise, and then what happens with the actual team. Take me through that process.
Absolutely. So we run a thing we call Lead Day, and I know that some of the other people in the country do a similar thing. So instead of having every lead go round robin, every lead go first to claim, we have 3 people and their entire job today, and then 3 different people tomorrow, and 3 different people the next day, on and on and on and on. Their entire job is to handle incoming leads. So Follow Up Boss will distribute those for them. So we basically have a group inside of Follow Up Boss called Lead Day. So we just go in there and we change the 3 agents at 8 o'clock in the morning, whoever's going to be on lead day today. So me, you, and Auberry are on lead day today. So starting at 8 o'clock, when the lead comes in, they get rotated through the 3 of us instead of rotating them through 25 people. Couple reasons that we've done that, and I know this isn't necessarily Follow Up Boss specific, but a couple reasons that we've done that. If you know you're on call 4 or 5 days a month, it's a heck of a lot easier to have a life in real estate than if you're on call 30 days a month. I know personally, I can say I was a single parent when I was first doing real estate. I'm at my kid's soccer game, my phone rings, and I'm going, do I make $5,000 or do I watch my kid's soccer game? That's a horrible feeling, right? We've all been there. So we know on lead day that doesn't happen. On lead day, you're on lead day. And if you have your kids' soccer games, change your lead day with somebody else if you have something important. But ultimately, it gives agents a little bit more freedom to do that they want. So basically, lead comes in from whatever lead source, goes into Follow Up Boss through the API, and then we're going to distribute it. If it's a phone call, it automatically distributes, rings the phone. If it's an email lead, then it'll automatically go into them. And then we use a thing called Calling Lead, which is another thing. One of the things that I know about phones. Yeah. Here's something about phones. This used to be a phone. This is not a phone anymore. It's a computer, right? I mean, really what it is, there's only one thing that'll take over your phone. What is that? A phone call. Everything else I can ignore. And the one thing it takes over your phone is a phone call. So we use Callingly when a new lead comes in, because speed of lead is still everything in this industry. I don't care what you say. So we want every lead reached out to in 30 seconds. So if lead comes in, their phone's going to ring, they press 1, it calls that person. It doesn't mean that person's going to answer, but we've done our job to reach out in that 30-second period.
I love that, man. It's a really good point about the phone call. All right. So lead comes through, you've got Callingly in place, you've got call day. So lead call day, kind of like office hours, right?
It used to be what we call, remember, what were they called? I just left me.
Floor time.
So,
floor time.
Thank you. It's the modern equivalent of floor time.
I love floor time, by the way. I picked up so many transactions from floor time.
Yeah. So, for example, we had an agent the other day on lead day, literally her first lead day. She set 4 appointments. So that's a good day, and for a lot of people, that's a good month. If you think about it, 4 appointments. And if you could, so realistically, our goal for someone on lead day is to set 1 to 2 appointments. And if you do that somewhere between 4 and 5 times a month, this business is easy. Well, there's other factors, obviously, but that's a relatively easy way to do things. And it's simple and it keeps people focused. And that's really what it's about. Let's face the real estate agents. What are we all bad at? Over here, squirrel. I'm as bad as anybody else. So I'm not talking to anybody.
So you have 1 agent per day.
3.
So hold on. Let me, all right. So you've got 3 agents per day. How does that work on your end? Tell me the specifics so people that are wondering how this works can just do it.
My screen shareable?
Yeah, share it away, buddy.
Okay. So this is the back end of Follow Up Boss here. Right here, it's on duty. You can see it. These are the 3 agents who are on duty right now. And tomorrow there'll be 3 different agents on duty. The next day there'll be 3 different agents on duty. And since everything routes through Follow Up Boss, all we do is come in here and change these 3 agents every day based on a calendar. And that's literally as easy as it is to put somebody on this. And every single lead comes in through here.
And who changes that for you? Your admin?
My admin. So we're actually, shout out to Jeff again. We're in the process of making that a Zapier automation. So basically create a Google sheet that will list whoever's on lead day today and do a zap, and it'll do it for us automatically. So that's in process right now.
That I think, hold on, let me just grab this thing on my end because I wanted to see if I could share something. If not, we'll just go ahead and talk about it anyway. Yeah, I can't share it. So I want to, first of all, give a shout out to you because the very first time I heard about the floor time, the online floor time, I thought it was from you. And that's like not the first time I heard something first from you, because you introduced me to Ylopo too, way back. So
shout out Howard.
He knows. I texted him.
I know he knows.
And I think the fact that you've sectioned it off this way is is a really, really great way to give the agents back their time so they know when they're going to be focused on actually receiving incoming calls like floor time
Mhm.
versus when they can set time to do other things, whether it's follow up or more purposeful things, right?
Absolutely. So we got a quick question in the chat. There are three. Are the three on that are on duty? Do the leads rotate between them? Yes. So email leads automatically rotate between the three of them. So depending on the lead source, phone calls are first to claim, and the reason that is I want 100% answer rate on phone calls. So we actually do this. It's a little bit more complex, but they have a group text between the three of them going on. And so the first agent will grab that first phone call. And then the rule is if you're not up, if your phone rings three times, answer it anyway. Because at the end of the day, maybe the person went to take a shower, maybe maybe they're on another phone call. Who knows? We have things that we do. So basically it's a rotation, but if the phone rings three times, whoever, even if you're not up, you grab it.
I love that, dude. And that's really important. I think you're giving some more time to agents back. I love that whole aspect of running a mega team like that. Very cool. All right, we've
Thanks,
got
bud.
2 minutes. Anything else you want to add here?
So I've actually spent a couple of minutes building this out, and if I'll share my screen again. One of the things that we love about Follow Up Boss is action plans, right? So the ability to create plans that will allow us to stay in touch. So I know you have a pond, is that correct?
Yep.
So just about everybody has a pond today. Here's what people were doing with the pond, and this is my new suggestion. And if you need me to share this plan with you, I'll be happy to. But this is what we used to do. Hey, jump in the pond, grab 50 leads, call those 50 leads, dump them back in the pond. You talk to 2 people, dump the 48 back in the pond, and then maybe somebody else tries the next day. Here's the reality. If you're calling leads that are over 6 months old, you should treat them like they're brand new. And here's what I mean by that. What's the rule for the number of touches it takes to have an initial contact? The rule's 8 contacts, right? So why not do the same thing with pond leads? And so I basically created this, and this is manual. You don't have to have any automation except a reminder inside of Follow Up Boss to do this. So let me share my screen real quick here. Click on this, and this is the actual action plan right here. So here's actually what happens. So day one, we add a tag, and that tag is day one. And the reason is because we're going to do something different on day one, day two, day three, day four, and we can start off. So I suggest agents on my team take 25 people and put them on this. So what do you do first? You call them. Hey, this is Brian with Curtis Realty Group. We're reaching out to people who made inquiries in the past, see what your real estate plans are for 2021. Are you thinking of making a move, or are you just window shopping? Now, that is if they get on the phone. If they don't get you on the phone, leave them a voicemail. Hey, it's Brian Curtis. I'm reaching out today because I'm following up an inquiry. Give me a call or shoot me a text. Then I shoot them a text. Hey, this is Brian Curtis with Curtis Realty Group. Hope you're having a great day. I called you a few minutes ago. Please call or text me back at this number. And then there's that push text, right? Or we can try again in about 45 minutes. Now, note here, I put in about 45 minutes. It's 2:30 right now. I would say 3:15. I wouldn't say in about 45 minutes. I would say in 3:15. And then basically day two, I take the day one tag off and automatically put the day two. And this whole thing is just a flow. One of the things that we found out is if you can flow consistently with people, you'll get a contact rate. If you do this drip, and I've done it automated without even making a phone call, you'll get over a 40% contact rate if you go through all 8 days. And
Makes sense, man.
so, think about this. How many people realistically, and this is what's happening in 2021, I'm sure you're dealing with it. Everybody I'm talking to is dealing with it. How many people get on there and they make 100 phone calls and they make, man, I talked to 5 people. And I spent my entire day dialing. I didn't spend my entire day talking. I spent my entire day literally waiting for someone to pick up.
Yeah.
This is designed, and it literally has all the scripts in every step of the way. It's designed so that you're nudging them. You're nudging. Now, and I'll tell you this: you get to step 6 or 7, they might tell you to F off, leave me alone. But that's great. At least I know how to disposition a lead. I can't disposition a lead that won't respond to me. I'd rather have you tell me to go to hell than never respond to me.
I love it. All right. So this video is recorded. We're going to post it up on the YouTube channel for Follow Up Boss. And if you have questions about Brian's drips, Brian, how do people get a hold of you?
Sure. You know what? Let me put it in the chat. I'll put my phone number in there. I don't care if people call me. And then you could also feel free to reach out to me on Facebook Messenger, Brian Curtis. Feel free to reach out to me in Facebook Messenger. There's my cell phone. Feel free to call me anytime. I will put this drip in the video once it's posted on Facebook. I'll just put that drip in there so people can see it, because somebody asked me if they could see the drip, and I think that feels like the easiest way to share it.
All right. If you want to put up your phone number too, I pinned the Facebook video to the top of the
Okay.
Follow Up Boss community. Just go in there and put in your information. If people have questions, they can hit you up there. Brian, thanks for being with us, buddy. And remember, if you're looking for coaching high level, go to Brian Curtis. He's also in Boulder, Colorado.
I am in Boulder, Colorado.
All right, just in case people want to send you referrals,
Please do. I have a team in Northwest Arkansas, and someone said I can't see your phone number. I'll put it in the chat so that you guys can see it.
I'll put it up right now too, buddy.
Oh, I know why, because I'm putting to all panelists. That's why.
Oh, yeah, that would.
Instead of all 1, 2, 3, 1, 7. There you go. There's my cell phone number again. Feel free to text me. Feel free to call me. Like every good real estate agent, I spend the majority of the time on my phone, so I probably won't answer, but I will return your phone call.
Texting is best.
Texting is best.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.